Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm, of course, your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day. And again, that you're looking after yourselves and one another. I have with me again Mr. Bill Schuster. How you doing, Bill?
Good, Armando. Good to be here. How are you doing?
Trying to keep bloody warm, actually. Um, Guys, it's like minus 40 Celsius outside here, not in Edmonton, not good. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing with our top five albums of the 70s series. We are going to be tackling year 1971. So, Bill and I have each come up with five albums and two honorable mentions. And I promise not to screw up like I did on the previous episode. I promise.
Promise,
I
promise.
will hand the mic over to Mr. Bill Schuster, and he will give us his number five. There you go. There you go. Good miming technique. I like it. I like it. And he'll give us his number five on his top five.
That was our special effects for the episode, folks.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, all right. Get right into my number five here. I really kind of feel bad ranking this low, but 1971 is a ridiculously loaded year. Some say it's the best year in the history of rock. I, I don't know if I'd agree, but I would find it difficult to argue against it. It's certainly a top 4 or 5 year for me. So
Definitely.
that said, my number five choice is Pink Floyd Metal, home of Echoes, one of the greatest progressive rock epics ever, and just a wonderful album. This is their last major album, not counting Obscured by Clouds before they hit the big time, really, with Dark Side. And
Yeah.
it still has a lot of that cool early spacey psychedelic Pink Floyd, where
Hmm.
they were a band before they really started fragmenting. And yeah, this is magical. That's if you've only heard the radio hits, folks, which I imagine most of the people watching this have probably heard more than the radio hits.
Yeah.
Uh, but for those few who maybe, check out Metal if you want to explore beyond the basics of Pink Floyd. It's a classic for a reason. That's my number five.
Oh, no, it's a good choice. My number five is this is the Canadian contingent coming in here, ladies and gentlemen. Chilliwack with their
Ah,
self-titled release, their second self-titled release, released in 71, featuring the top 10 Canadian hit and top 10 Canada hit, I should say, Lonesome Mary. Um, Bill Henderson and the boys, trio at this point. Fantastic mix of uh, um, early 70s pop, rock, psychedelic, experimentation. Again, you have Lonesome Mary, you have Rosie. It was released as a double album. 9 tracks released as a double album. They had just signed with A&M Records at this point. Side three starts off with music for a quiet time, and it's just all instrumental experimentation. You'll have also on the I guess it's like 17 minutes track of Night Morning, which is just again more experimentation with guitar effects. Ride and Ride Out. Ride Out is almost like an instrumental country acoustic track. Just an amazing album. I recently, like not recently, I bought this album like my God, like 10 years ago, and I just rediscovered it in my collection, right? That's how bad I am at this stuff. So it is a good album. Um, they were dropped from A&M 2 years after this release, but that's my number five, Chilliwack.
right. That is an awesome, surprising choice. I will say that album did not make my list, but I am a definite Chilliwack fan, and they may be appearing later in the decade. I'll just leave it at that. So good to see them here. That's awesome. My number four, well, All right. I wore this shirt for a reason, knowing we were taping some of these episodes here. Madman Across the Water,
Good
Elton John,
choice.
another early masterpiece. Obviously, everybody knows Tiny Dancer and Levon and Madman Across the Water, but Razorface, Indian Sunset. I mean, this whole album is just wonderful. It's still, again, like Tumbleweed Connection from the previous year.
Hmm.
Very much that early folky sort of Elton John. Uh, it's still Bernie Taupin getting into a bit of his Americana
Yes.
obsession with some of the lyrics. Yeah, it's timeless. God, no matter how much it's overplayed, Tiny Dancer still gets me every time, and Levon can still bring me to tears whenever he sings that line about Jesus blowing up balloons all day and leave. And yeah, wait, crap. All right, sorry, folks. My mind is not functioning properly. You know the one I'm talking about. The line about Levon slowly dying.
Yeah.
That just brings me to tears when I sing along with that. Just
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you.
it's a
There's
great song. It's a great album.
there are
Ah,
certain songs that just hit you certain ways, like emotionally, and you just there's no explanation for it. It is what it is. So yeah, no, that's a good one.
music.
Um, my number four. Correct me. We are on number four, right? There we go. Okay, number four.
Yes.
Um, Pink Floyd with Metal.
I,
There goes the crossover, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I did mention to Bill once that there are albums where there's one song on the album that basically saves the album and it makes the album for you. And for me, Echoes is that track. 23 minutes plus of uh, experimentation, rock, ethereal vocals, a bit of funk in terms of the bass work on it. And it starts off with One of These Days with the instrumental, of course, with Nick Mason doing the augmented vocals. One of these days I'm going to tear you into little pieces, that kind of thing. But featuring Gilmore on bass guitar, just an amazing. Those two tracks for me make the album. So that is my number four.
all right. I kind of had a feeling we might cross over on that one.
Yuppers.
I'll be surprised if we don't also cross over on my next one. This is one I do not have a prop for because I can't find my record. It is the most popular, the most famous, not necessarily my favorite, but the most successful Led Zeppelin album. Led Zeppelin for the Runes album, the Symbols album, whatever you want to call it. You know the songs, folks. Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Battle of Evermore, Stairway to Heaven. On yeah, it's so every single song on this has for decades been played to death by the radio, and yet it still stands up. Still, anytime one of these songs pops up on my own playlists, I'm never going to skip it. This stuff is brilliant.
Yeah.
Even Stairway's not my favorite Led Zeppelin song, but it's still a masterpiece, and I will still never skip it or turn it off.
Hmm.
So yeah, if you don't know this album, folks, I don't know what to tell you. You why are you watching this? This is pretty basic.
True enough. True enough.
You lost. You're on the right channel.
True
This
enough.
is not the how-to cooking video, folks. This is music discussion.
Okay, cool, cool. No, it's a good one. Um, my number three is, oh my goodness, I got so much to choose from here. I'm gonna get slammed for this too. Um, Nazareth with their debut.
Interesting.
Um, just an amazing, heavy, balls to the wall rock album. Dan McCafferty with those whiskey drenched vocals, Manny Charleston on guitar, Peter Agnew on bass. Like, come on. I mean, Doug Sweet on the drums. Fucking hell. I'm sorry. It's just, you know, with songs like Witch Doctor Woman, Dear John, Empty Arms, Empty Heart, um, I Had a Dream, Red Light Lady, ending off side one. Come on. I mean, like, it's just like, you know, even that one track, Red Light Lady, it's rocking, it's dramatic, it's epic, and its arrangement, it's and Dan McCafferty's vocals are just so unmistakably him. You know who it is when he's singing. And the cover of Morning Dew from oh God, the name escapes me. Bonnie Dobson, I think it is Bonnie Dobson. Um, this is like a 7 minute plus version of Morning Dew. Heavy rhythm guitar, heavy bass, low menacing vocals from Dan McCafferty, just amazing. Fat Man is another good track. Country Girl, and ends with King is Dead. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like, unreal, unbelievable. So that's my next one. That's my number three.
That is definitely a cool, unexpected choice there. That's
Mhm.
not an album that gets mentioned much.
No,
Usually, people talk about Nazareth. It's all tear the dog all day long.
exactly,
Yeah, good
exactly.
choice.
And yeah, thank you. And a little footnote: Roy Thomas Baker of Queen and Journey and Foreigner fame engineered the album. Thank you very much. Moving on. At Trident Studios. There we go. All right.
All right, my number two. Okay, it's not even remotely obscure. This is along the lines of Zeppelin 4. This is their most popular album. Radio has played it to death. I don't care. It's still an amazing classic and it's perfection every track. Jethro Tull's Aqualung.
Yeah.
This is the 2011 Steven Wilson stereo remix. If you want to be fancy here, but any version is great. Whether it's a concept album or not depends on who you believe. If you think Ian says it's not a concept album, and well, he wrote the song, so I guess he would know what he's talking about. But it sure seems like one to me, so I'm sticking with it.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just in my own brain. That's what I'm going with.
That's
Sorry, Ian.
exactly. There you go. There you go. No, good one. Good one. Um, yeah, I've got the box set, the reissue 4 disc set of the Steven Wilson remix. I managed to get it for like under $40. So I did it. I lucked out on that one. My number two, it's a toss up here. I'm going to go with this one. Joni Mitchell with Blue. Uh, Fantastic album, with songs like All I Want, California. Her version, the original version of This Flight Tonight. There's I was going to say Aerosmith, the Nazareth Connection, River, A Case of You, Carrie. The last time I saw Richard, like an amazing acoustic folk album. Um, she wears her heart on her sleeve. When Chris Christopherson heard the album, he literally said to her, Joni, just save something for yourself. Don't give everything away. Keep something of your identity and something for you, a secret to yourself. Keep, you know what I mean? Don't just lay it out on the table in the lyrics. And then, just it's gut wrenching, this album. Um, Classic all the way. So that's my number two.
Nice. All right, I'm noticing. Are the regulations requiring you to get your certain amount of Canadian content in? We've heard in 70 and 71, the Guess Who, Chilliwack, Joni Mitchell. I'm sensing a theme here.
Yes, I'm being monitored by the CRTC. Yes.
Obviously, I'm kidding, folks, but yeah, that's
Exactly, exactly. Come and get me. All right, let's go. You're number one.
all right. My number one, really, a lot of these, my 71 choices are kind of boring and predictable, but it's that kind of year. Again, just like my previous two, the most popular, every song overplayed, most successful, just but still a masterpiece that I never get tired of. That's right, it's Who's Next. It could only be Who's Next. This was always going to be my number one. Aqualung's very close, but Who's Next might be, if I had to pick an album to represent what is classic rock in one album, it's
Mhm,
Who's Next.
mhm.
Yeah, everybody knows the songs. I mean, Baba O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again, Behind Blue Eyes, Going Mobile, Getting in Tune, Bargain. My favorite is The Song Is Over, a
Yeah.
gorgeous song. Yeah, again, this is another one that's popular for a reason. No radio can't kill it. It's that good.
Yeah.
It's that timeless. So
Yeah.
yeah, Who's Next? Predictable, but it couldn't be anything else. If I'm being honest with myself, I already knew before we started this what number one was going to be for 71.
Yeah.
It has been as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's my number one as well.
Nice.
It is. And guys, if you can get the box set, the massive 10 CD, one DVD, one Blu-ray audio box set, get it. I have it. It is massive. It is huge. You can use it as a weapon if someone tries to break in the house, bash it over someone's head. Um, all that what all what Bill said. Bubba O'Reilly. There's a 13-minute version of Bubba O'Reilly on the box set in the Lifehouse sessions. Bargain, Love Ain't for Keeping, My Wife, The Song Is Over, Getting in Tune, Going Mobile, Behind Blue Eyes, Won't Get Fooled Again. There's another, I think, another 13-minute version of Won't Get Fooled Again. Amazing, just an amazing album. Every song is killer, no filler. That's my number one. So we're gonna go with our honorable mention. So I'll give mine. We'll go one and one back and forth. So my first
All right.
honorable mention is um, Chicago 3, uh, a good mix of jazz, fusion, rock, experimentation, Sing a Mean Tune Kid, that starts off the album, 9 minutes plus, Travel Suite, okay? That takes up all of side two. Elegy, An Hour in the Shower, all these experimental tracks. I love all this stuff. Chicago, one of the few bands, really quickly, that were able to release three double albums back to back. And Columbia didn't do jack about it at the time. This was that time, though, when bands were allowed to experiment. It hit number two on the Billboard charts. Uh, Good album. Um, but yeah, it deserved an honorable mention. So that's my first one.
I'm absolutely going to agree with that. I thought I had a copy of it right here, but it must have been moved. Uh, I'm glad you mentioned it. They're not on my list, but it was hard to leave it off. Same with the previous album from 1970. They were both just right at the cusp of making it. I love those early Chicago albums.
Uh,
But my first honorable mention is going to be Fragile from Yes. It kind of blows my mind that it didn't make top five, but 1971 is a brutal year, folks. Obviously, Roundabout's on here, Long Distance, Run Around, Heart of the Sunrise. This is a great album. Rick Wakeman's first album with the band.
yeah,
It's a prog rock staple, and this is the classic Yes lineup. This is
yeah,
where that lineup began, and they would get even better, really.
yeah.
But yeah, Yes, Fragile.
I was going to put that on my list. But again, I was trying to pick albums that I really hadn't talked about before on the channel. So I wanted to sort of shake it up a little bit. I never mentioned Chilliwack and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
Chilliwack blew my mind when you pulled that one out. I
yeah, I'm full of surprises.
thought I would be one to throw them in.
Yeah, full of surprises, both full of surprises. My last honorable mention is Led Zeppelin 4. I mean, come on. Um, you know, um, Everything that Bill said times two. You know what I mean? In terms of the song, you know, quality on the album, Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Battle of Evermore. I mean, featuring fantastic vocals by Sandy Denny, which originally was going to be done as a single vocal, but Robert Plant wanted to do it as a duet, and he wanted to get Sandy Denny. I believe she was in Fairport Convention um, around this time. Um, what's to be said about Stairway to Heaven? Like, come on, you know, Misty Mountain Hop, Four Sticks, Going to California, in Four Sticks with John Bonham playing with two sticks in each hand. Hello, the levee's gonna break. I mean, massive drumming from Bonham. Uh, again, this was during a time where bands were allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. If it meant bringing in a camel and a diaper in the studio while they were recording, smoking a joint, the camel smoking a joint, by the way, um, the record company would move hell and high water in order to get it done because they wanted product. And as much as it is overplayed, this album delivers. I put on an honorable mention list because you're gonna wonder why I did that because speaking so highly of it, I wanted to again talk about albums I usually don't talk about. So that's why this guy moved to an honorable mention position. But that's my last one for the honorable mentions. So uh yep, there you go, guys.
My
That's our
final.
sorry.
Oh, I still got one more honorable.
There is something in my tea. Go ahead.
There it is. My last is this one hasn't been mentioned yet. This artist, and
Yeah,
it's Harry Nilsson. The Point.
that's right.
This, I have the original record here somewhere. You get a better view of it, but of course, this has the classic inner illustrations, which depict the story. I loved this album as a kid. I always looked through the illustrations
Yeah.
and loved listening along with it. Harry, of course, narrates half the album and sings the other half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essentially, a children's fantasy story, which was also made into a an animated special narrated by
That's
Ringo
right.
Starr.
That's right. With Ringo Starr. That's right. That's right.
But this is it's not just for kids. These songs are great. It's just a very tuneful, melodic, touching album. I used to sing "Think About Your Troubles." That was one of the songs I used to use to sing my kids to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
love the cool little circular story of that song, "The Life of a Teardrop." If you're not familiar with it, I suggest looking up "Think About Your Troubles" by Nielsen. But
Yeah.
the whole album is cool. It's a short but wonderful magical journey. Highly recommended.
Fantastic
And that's
album.
fine.
I completely forgot about it, and I'm sorry again for screwing up, Bill. Um, so there you
We'll
have it,
blame Bob.
there you go. There you go. I deserve that. All right, guys, there you go. Our top five albums of 1971 plus two honorable mentions. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, down there in the comments below, please give us, as with the previous episode, give us your top five albums of 1971 and 1970, and a couple of honorable mentions. Doesn't have to be five, could be three, could be two, whatever you want to do. And please, let us know your opinions on all these releases. And you can stream all of this stuff on YouTube. Okay, if you haven't invested in them yet, please check them on YouTube first, and don't take our word for it. Find out for yourself. So we will be back shortly with top five albums of 1972, and for now, I will say goodbye, and I want to thank again Mr. Bill Schuster for coming along for the ride and sharing with us your top five. So that's it for now, and we will see you soon with another video. Bye for now.